Thanks for tuning in to Positioning Your Passion podcast. I'm your host, Na, and I'm here with slowly becoming one of my favorite people,
Slowly.
Danni Moore of Semicolon and of a bunch of different things.
Of a few different
Yes.
things.
Thank you so much for saying yes to being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me, I guess. It depends on how this goes.
Well, getting started, question that I ask a lot to a lot of people is, where are you from?
Jacksonville, Florida, Duval County. We outside.
Okay. What was it like growing up in Florida?
Oh, it was a time. Jacksonville is one of the worst cities in the world for crime.
Okay.
AIDS, HIV, all the very negative things, but we are also one of the most beautiful cities. We have like 26 beaches, rivers, lakes, everything else. So it's just quite the conundrum to have both of those things in the same space. But it's a space that I was very interested in escaping from.
How far is Jacksonville from, like, I guess the places in Florida that people know, like the Miami and the Orlando? Well, not that
Okay,
you don't
because
know.
the Jaguars going to the Super Bowl this year,
Okay,
so
you're
don't
right.
do that.
Correct me.
But also, I would say Orlando, hour and a half.
Okay.
You know, Miami, 4 hours. So, yeah,
What was the first thing you remember being passionate about growing up?
women.
Ah,
No,
okay.
it's sad. I remember.
Okay.
I remember being about 3 or 4 years old and be like, that girl right there, that's me. Like that's me. So I've
Yeah.
always been really passionate about women, about food, about words.
Okay.
Words. Like I saw the effect of words really early. I loved things like spelling, phonics, those things. It was a big deal to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're queer.
I am queer. I am
And it's June.
it have pride. I
Happy
guess.
Pride. What was that journey like for you, like being, because I feel like sometimes people forget, like, Florida is still the South.
It is very
You
much the
know,
South, and most of us have Caribbean parents. I came out when I was 12, so it was quite an experience.
Okay.
My Caribbean parents, my mom is Trinidadian, my dad is Jamaican, and it was a lot of judgment, a lot of feelings, a lot of people keeping their kids away from me,
Okay.
which I had no problem with. I'm not particularly friendly. Uh, so,
You are.
but you kind of just learn to mind your business and stay in your lane, and that's what I did. That's what got me through.
And then what was that, I guess, point of maybe your family coming around, or like acceptance, or just, or did you?
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest. I think the acceptance was always there for them. I think they were more concerned with how I had to deal with other people because of it. You know, my mom never asked me to change anything, never do anything. My dad is very different, considering he is very Christian, very black male, strong man. So he hates everything about it. We don't talk to this day. Uh, but my family was just like, we have to go to war for you all the time because of this, with people making slick comments and stuff. But we're a family of shit talkers, so it's fine.
Yeah. I came out when I was like 16.
Yeah.
And I came out as like bisexual because I thought that
Oh,
would
it's
like
the
soften
you
the
can
blow.
ease in. Yeah, yeah. And everybody thinks it's just a phase. And yeah. That's cute.
Yeah.
Bisexual, huh? That was a choice.
That's what I said. And I actually I wrote it on a sticky note and gave it to my mom while company was over.
No,
So,
while company was up. So you embarrassed your mom in front of these
well, not
people?
embarrassed, but like I knew that she wasn't going to go.
Respond
You know what I'm
immediately.
saying?
Right.
Yeah.
That
And it
was a
kind of gave me
smooth
a
way.
little, yeah. But I feel like a lot of times people say like your parents know, or there's certain things that,
They
maybe
took have an
indications.
understanding. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you felt like your mom knew?
Mhm.
Hmm.
For sure, for sure.
Okay.
What college did you study at, and what did you study?
I went to Florida State. One, because Tallahassee is only 2 hours from Jacksonville, so I could still be close to my family. My major was English. My minor was psychology. I just knew I was going to be an English professor. I was going to teach at that school. I love
Okay.
Florida State. I didn't know anything about HBCUs. I graduated in 2005. Like, it wasn't that big. You might take that personally. Okay.
No, I mean I ended up at an HBCU on a
Right.
whim.
So,
Like,
but I didn't
yeah.
know anything about them. But Florida State is a PWI, and we're right across the tracks from FAMU. So I just remember feeling safe because FAMU was right across the tracks, right? So I could be very black, but I could also be in this other space where I felt like there were no limits.
Mm-hmm.
My financial aid always came through on time. It was, it was
It was good.
it was
Yeah.
good. We were fine. But I loved it, and I also got a little bored when I
Okay.
got there. So while I was there, majoring in English and minoring in psychology, I also went and got my culinary degree.
Okay.
Because I love food. And I was like, if I decide to drop out, to do whatever, to open a restaurant, I want to make sure I have my culinary degree so chefs will take me seriously.
Okay.
And so it was
And how long did
fine.
it take you to get that degree?
10 years. 10
Okay.
years straight through getting my PhD. I took some time. I did some study abroad. I did a little bit of everything. I was all over the joint.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I loved it. I love learning. I would be getting degrees right now if time permitted. I
Yeah.
want to keep getting degrees for the rest of my life. I think learning environments are my favorite places to be.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you ended up in New York at some
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
I've ended
Can
up
you talk about
everywhere.
like, yeah, talk about
Yeah.
like that journey and then what
I
landed
believe,
you in New
like,
York?
when I got out of Jacksonville, being in Jacksonville is very sheltered, very small, very country. People don't leave, right? And if
Okay.
they leave, they go to Orlando, they go to
Yeah, like up
Miami. Living in
up the
Miami,
yeah.
you a big deal. Like, you move from Jacksonville to Miami. But I was like, there's a whole world out there. So I made this rule for myself that I would only live in places for no more than 2 years.
Okay.
So I got to live in Brazil, and I got to live in Australia, and I got to live in all these dope places and just experience life in those places.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And what was the work you were doing at the time?
Curating, copy editing, whatever it took.
Okay.
Okay, because bills had to get paid.
Okay.
A little bit of everything just to meet new people, just to learn more about myself, learn more about words, do all of those dope things. So I found myself in New York for an extended period because I was curating. Like, I had gotten into curating. I got to become the person who was doing these exhibits at these dope institutions. And I can't explain, like, what, it's 20 years since I graduated from high school. I can't explain how, like, the time leap and what it feels like. I just know that it feels like it's been 2 months. I still feel the same way I did when I graduated high school, except I've made all these things and met all these people along the way. So that's dope too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you say curator, for folks that are listening, like,
Mm.
what does that even mean? You said you were
Um.
curating.
So
What's
there's
this?
a
Yeah.
technical term, but there's
Uh-huh.
also a non-technical term. So I think we're gonna go with that one. And
Okay.
I think it's the person who can make people understand.
Okay.
That's how I see it. When I'm putting together an exhibit space with any type of art, with any type of music, everything matters. In every space, everything matters. So, like, even as we're sitting in this space right now, the plants are specific, the books are specific, the conversation is specific, and I think curation is specificity.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So you was on your specificity up in New
Forever
York,
on my
you know.
specificity everywhere.
Can you talk about like what like you grew up kind of in New York, right? And like what were those growing pains or like yeah.
Growing pains. Well, one, I got married and divorced in New York. That was the time.
Oh wow. Okay.
That was my time. My first marriage was in New York. And my ex-wife is a very dope woman to this day. I just had to learn the difficulties of what marriage and commitment actually looks like. And there's a commitment to yourself, and there's a commitment to your work, and there's a
Mhm.
commitment to your partner.
Yeah.
And all of them require different things from you. But I learned that I couldn't manage the requirement of partnership.
Oh.
I was better with the requirement of work, right? Everything is clear, and I'm better with my requirement of me. I could take myself anywhere and go shopping, and I'm happy. But another person needing things from you is difficult for me.
Yeah.
I will say that work has never been difficult ever. But even before my divorce, I was homeless in New York. I was doing a little homeless uh, artist vibe, just out there
Couch
living on the street,
surfing, you
couch
know.
surfing. I'm living on the street. I'm kicking it, still taking showers at my friend's house. Like, it was the life for me. I never felt concerned about anything.
Yeah.
That was my safety. I didn't want to be stuck. I wanted to enjoy myself, and I
Mhm.
was.
And who was you hanging with? Who was you meeting? Who was
I
in
got
the
to meet
crew?
all of the dopest people. Spent some time with Virgil when Virgil was really in the process of creating, what he was creating during that time. I spent some time with Takashi Murakami, and doing those things. I've built most of my adult relationships being homeless in New York.
Mhm.
And I enjoy that to this day. Those relationships are still a part of my life 20 years later.
And you
Yeah.
landed in Chicago. And you've been in this thing for what, like over a decade
Over a
now, right?
decade.
And
Over a
so
decade. Yeah, I got here in 2014.
being in Chicago, not from Chicago, is is interesting. Can you talk about yeah, what has been, I guess, the joys of being in this city and building,
You want me
your
to focus on the
businesses?
joys? No.
First.
Okay. What I love about Chicago is it's clean, it's sweet. People care what you're doing and who you know, and what you have going on. And that's the real difference from New York, right? And the real difference from the South as well. The South, they care what you do, what you care about.
Okay.
And in New York, they care how good you are at whatever it is, but they don't really care who you know. In Chicago, they take both of those things and they're like, we need to know everything.
All of it.
And it's just a very specific space. And so I find myself, Chicagoans love Chicago.
We do.
I have come to love Chicagoans, specifically West Siders, because they feel Southern to me. But it's okay. If I had my way, I would be living anywhere else in the world. Not to say that Chicago is a bad place, but I don't believe in staying in one place for this amount of time.
Yeah, so you've been here longer than your
I've been here.
than your
That's 2
plan
years
anyway.
is my thing,
Yeah.
and I just happen
Yeah.
to have a wife here, and she's a Chicagoan, and Chicagoans don't leave Chicago.
Yeah.
Because why would you, right? It is an exquisite city. Again, there's an entire world outside.
Okay, so you may not be in Chicago too. We'll see.
We'll see.
Cause yeah,
Again, my wife ain't leaving, so I guess I'm here too.
you here? Yes. And yeah, shout out the wife. Shout out
Man.
Kim. As a transplant to Chicago, do you feel embraced? And if so, how do you navigate that? If not, how do you navigate that?
Most of the time, I feel embraced.
Okay.
Most of the time, I try to move in a way where I don't step on toes and make other people uncomfortable.
Okay.
I do find that not being from Chicago and people knowing I'm not from Chicago puts them in a position sometimes that when I do something big or when I get a lot of notice or notoriety, it makes them uncomfortable. And a thing I hear a lot of times is like, well, she ain't even from Chicago. So like, why is she getting Chicago press? And why is she, but I think they have the rule where when you've been somewhere for 10 years, you are of that city. So anyway, but it's also the other aspect of people wanting to protect what's theirs. And Chicago protects itself. Chicago has a lot of vultures, a lot of culture vultures. So I get that and I try to move respectfully.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Curating, which is something that I feel like you at the top of the game on that. Right? Like you,
I
yeah.
feel like it's hard to be at the top of the curatorial game because everything changes every minute, right?
Okay.
So you may think something is gonna hit and it may hit for 30 seconds and then some wild shit happens and now your shit is late, right? Or it doesn't have the vibe that the world requires. And the world requires a lot right now. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah.
It requires a lot and curatorial work is hard because you have to be in and of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be cool enough and put things together that are cool enough to grab people's attention, but also cool enough to stand the test of time. There are certain exhibits that even 20 years after I've seen them, certain aspects of them are still on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's what your exhibit should feel like,
Yeah, but given where you are at in your career, you seasoned.
So
for folks,
AKA old. What's that?
just experienced
Okay.
and have put in the work.
Yeah,
and
a
have
lot.
a
I have put
vision,
in the work.
Around like what makes, like you said, the curatory space valuable. And
That part.
so for anyone listening, like what would you say or what advice would you give to the young curators or the because I worked for Young Chicago Authors for a while, and we launched a gallery, and we were in there thinking we were curators, right? Like we was doing shows, we were, right? In our level, but looking at a lot of the artists that we had in those shows and where they are now, it's like it's crazy. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. You saw it before everybody else did.
Exactly.
And that's a curator's work.
But doing it in a youth space. But well, for the person that is, I think, on whether the independent gallery side and you're trying to, curate your calendar year, or even that person that is like, I'm gonna go in and create a gallery space just to share my own work, and then I want to invite other people into that.
Fair.
What are just advice and what not to do, or maybe even things that you wish you'd known on as you started.
Take your ego out of it. take your ego out of it. I am extremely egotistical. And I have learned a lot of hard lessons because of that. And not to say, like, our ego protects us from people playing with us. Like, let's
Right.
let's never act like that's not the case. But also, curatorial spaces and art spaces specifically are spaces where you're always learning. Things are always changing. So no, there's not a point where you know everything
Yeah.
that is happening. So be open to learning and be open to doing things in a way that other people may not have done it before. Right? Like, you see one thing go viral and you like, I'm gonna do something a little bit like that, but I'm gonna change the background color or something. And like, hey, we exist as ourselves and we've had our personal experiences, so we can bring those things to the table in our work and in our life. And curatorial work is life, right? It's you taking these experiences and the things that make you tick and the things that make you respond, and putting them in a space where other people will have that same reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So those things matter, and we can't do anything however anybody else did, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But social media has created a space where you get more attention when you follow a trend. And I'm seeing that in curatorial work, and it's scary. But it's also why a lot of these exhibits are not selling out and getting the traction that they thought they would.
Yeah.
People need to have a different experience.
Yeah.
You know?
Well said. Bars.
Been out here.
As a collector, you consider yourself a collector?
Absolutely.
Okay. As a collector, how important is it for you to invest in Black artists? And what types of, I guess, art are you purchasing?
It's imperative to me. I don't I have gotten a lot of art gifts from friends and everyone else, but I only put Black artists in my home. Because I'm Black, but also because Black artists are intentionally overlooked, right? Like, they set the standard for so many spaces and then get copied, and gallerists will say better done, but that's not the case.
Yeah.
So I make sure that my home is representative of what I believe in. And what I believe in is the work and the journey of Black artists. You have to tell a story. And if you haven't been through anything, ain't no story to tell. So nobody can do that like Black artists can. And so when I collect, I'm specific about seeing Black, darker skinned women. A lot of my pieces are that. I'm specific about Black children in spaces of joy. I have a lot of Black children smiling in my home. I love street art. I love to see graffiti and wild ass colors like that. Those are the things that make me happy, because this is raw. This is natural to Blackness and to art and to dopeness. So I try to keep that around.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give to, like, artists trying to, I guess, figure out how to establish a group of collectors or people that really want to, be a part of their journey early and then continue on, or just want to be noticed?
I know very well that just being an artist and just being an excellent artist does not pay the bills. Collectors pay the bills. People supporting you pays the bills. But I will also say, when you begin doing work to pay the bills, that's where you're already failing, right? Art is creativity. Art is you showing up as yourself, and doing what you feel. And when you're making art from a space of fear, and unhappiness, it shows.
Or desperation?
Or desperation. It shows. So now you on there taking commissions, and you doing your commissions for $60. Like, you are devaluing yourself at that moment, right? And I know, again, bills got to get paid however they get paid, but you devaluing yourself sets you up for failure later on. So what I will say is that, as an artist, you have to protect yourself and from your circumstances. People are coming. Your people are out there. So I think a major way is to just continue sharing your art. Don't overthink it. Share your art on social media. Somebody's going to find you. Somebody's going to love you, but you have zero control over that.
Yeah.
You have zero control over who sees you and puts a bug in this gallery owner's ear. So if you have no control anyway, you might as well do you. And that is my major suggestion. Do you. Don't adjust. Don't change your rates so that people make purchases. Do you all the time.
As we talk about changing rates and purchases, how does one get to that point of being able to price work in a way that allows you to also, like, effectively scale?
Well,
because I don't know if you've seen, no, them SAIC students and how they be coming out the gate pricing they work, But I mean, yeah, I think there's various, but it's like, as artists put the value on their work and they say, this is what I think it's worth, how do you navigate that,
So
like,
SAIC is a specific choice.
we don't got to talk about that.
Well, yeah, not them specifically, but any schooling, any art school is a specific choice because there is a technical way that art is valued, and if you're not in the curatorial space, you might not know that.
What's that technical
way?
But
the technical way is that what is the size? Obviously, what is the technicality of it? How difficult it is it for somebody else to do this? Okay, how much time did it take? And what's your medium? Right? That's the technical way to figure out a price. And so when you're coming from a school, you're obviously pricing in the technical because that's how galleries are going to price it. And they're likely going to double up because they're taking 50% on top. But it is mostly the care and the effect on the people who see it, right? If somebody's awed by a thing, if somebody cries when they see a thing, they're willing to pay more for it. So I love doing, when it's pricing time, I love doing an art test.
Okay.
I'll throw some pieces in my house and have people come over and kick it with me. And their response is going to tell me where I'm pricing at. How do they feel about it? Again, we have the certain things that are already aligned. We know the size. We know the framing. We know that they use oil on canvas. We know how much time this took because look at the technicality. You know the difference between a Seurat and a Picasso. How do you feel when you see it? Because the feeling is what makes people more comfortable paying whatever is necessary to have it in their space.
Okay.
And that's how I price.
Okay. I just learned something. When we talk about like genres, there's like this concept of like contemporary fine art.
Yeah.
Can you break that down and like what is the difference? Is there, I don't know, because I feel like maybe, and these are maybe just people in like my circle, is like everybody's pushing to be fine art, and kind of more away from contemporary.
Yes.
When from like, I guess maybe an institutional standpoint, contemporary is higher than ever, so can you,
with anything, there are technical there are technical definitions of these things. Fine art is typically art by an artist who is no longer alive.
Okay.
That's typically the differentiator.
So we out here just
saying words, and words matter to me. I care a lot about them, so I hate that. But the other aspect of that is, what is the medium? Fine art is typically going to be marble, statues, that kind of thing. Is typically going to be oil on canvas or some other something like that. But like, that is what's going to define fine art, and it's typically, fine art is typically done for intellectual value and enjoyment.
Okay.
That's the major difference, right? So that's why all the intellectuals own the fine art and they have it in their sexy little libraries. It is something that makes you think, not so much feel. It is something that has a high technical value. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the Seurat, are you doing pointillism in your art? Because do you know how long that takes? Do you know how technical you have to be to pull that off? That's fine art. It deserves the cost. Contemporary art is typically something that is from the 20th century to now. So again, dead or alive, but 20th century to now. And it's also going to be something that is speaking on something that's happening. So whether it's politics, whether it's a social issue, whether it's an emotional issue, it's supposed to make you feel. And it can be all types of mediums. It could be when people take things, and I personally, I'm not a fan of contemporary art. I want to share that. Not a fan of contemporary art. It's a personal thing. I'm okay with that now. But it could be somebody smashing this table up in front of us and they're like, art. And you like,
contemporary.
Contemporary.
Yeah.
You can tell from a mile away because it's supposed to make you feel. And that is the difference in pricing as well.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, shoot. So you have a gallery, but it is a part of a bookstore.
It is.
What can you talk about just like why did you choose to do that? And obviously you love literature, you love words, all of that.
I love words. I love art more. I love art right there with words. I can't say more.
Okay.
But I loved that when I created my bookshop, I didn't go into a lot of bookshops that ever had art.
And that was 2020?
2019.
2019. Oh, before it went crazy.
Man, right before it went crazy, but before it went crazy, and I didn't, every time I went into bookshops, I'm like, you know, it'd be great here? A mural. And it was just so odd. Like, why wouldn't you have this thing that would make people feel something when we're surrounded by all of these words and all of these stories that are going to make you feel? Where's the art that adds to that?
Mm-hmm.
And so when I opened my shop, I remember specifically other booksellers coming in and being like, I don't get it. Why would you put art in here?
It's non-traditional.
Why do you have, it's non-traditional. And most people don't know that bookshops have very traditional models. When you let the American Booksellers Association know that you're opening a bookshop, they send you this 300-page package, right? And it's like, usually this is what you put here, and this is what you put here, and 20% of your shop should be these types of books, and this, and you just go off of that, and you're like, well, this is what works, this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
and
this is the model.
I did none of that. I did none of that. And so people were just kind of like disgusted by my space. I mean, I just remember looking at people's faces and being like, because I worked with a Chicago artist, and we did some graffiti in my original space, and I remember people like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
In a bookstore.
Yeah. But it worked. It worked. Like, people.
We still here, so yeah. I don't, you know.
Yeah. What was it like being on a billboard? I feel like that's where I saw you. I was just like, because I never made it to any of those stores, any of those locations, but I saw the campaign. Yeah. And at the time, I got an opportunity to go to Honey Pot, because Honey Pot was a part of that campaign. So, Honey Pot, Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're open anymore.
They sold, but yeah.
Okay.
It was fine. It felt very normal.
Okay.
Again, I live a very big life, so nothing surprises me. So when somebody's like, I'm going to put you on the side of this 100-story building, I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
And so when we did the shoot, it was a 12-hour shoot. And I remember being like, this is the most ridiculous. Because how it takes 12 hours to take some pictures? Like, honestly, it don't take that long. I'm going to send you these that I took on my iPhone, and we're going to move along. But it was a 12-hour shoot. And it was with Akilah, who's one of my favorites. She's one of the dopest photographers in the world.
Shout out Akilah. Yeah.
And she was just so cool the whole time, and we had such a good time that it passed super quickly. And I remember seeing the image she picked and being like,
that's how it be sometimes.
I had a problem with it, but I also understood that I didn't know the direction. As a curator, I didn't know the direction of the shoot and what they expected people to feel. And it felt like a lot of people resonated with it. So it was fine. It was walkable from my house. People would send me pictures. Apparently, it was all over the city. I never looked. Again, I do a thing and I leave it alone and I move along. I never looked. I never didn't even see it.
Well, it was super inspiring, I think, for just entrepreneurs, and then knowing that, like, they made it a big campaign, and for, you know, folks that are listening, watching, it was Square. And they did, I don't know, it was like celebrating entrepreneurs.
Yeah, it was
right?
also Pear Nova, who's very dope. It was Sir and Madam, also.
Yeah, I remember
dope.
that. Yep.
Like, yeah, it was dope.
Yeah. But in a way, like, being able to say, we're gonna, like, kind of make you the model that represents, and for a technology website company, it was like so random, but to your point, the shots, Akilah's work, it was so beautiful.
It was.
So it was just like,
so that wasn't, we actually did one that was a little bit bigger with Versace. A lot of people didn't catch it because we got so dressed up. We got to put on Versace clothing and whatnot, and we partnered with a poet. So
you had a billboard? Oh, nice. I didn't catch that one.
And that one was all over the world. So it was very cool as well. But again, because we put on our Versace clothing, we had to put on heavy makeup for that one. Like, they thought the booksellers were the models, which was one of the dopest things that I've seen. So again, it just felt very normal.
Yeah. So what's that, like, I guess, fine line for you between, like, being recognized and diverse versus just being another, like, check on the box? Especially since I guess 2020 to now.
Yeah.
Right? Like the landscape of supporting Black-owned businesses,
Right.
supporting Black booksellers,
Yeah.
supporting Black initiatives is
Yeah.
like, you know.
I mean, people only fake cared before, so it feels the
It's like
same.
it's back to normal.
Yeah, it's back to normal. It feels normal. Like we got this rush of supposed support, but the support was not consistent. It was really for people to show that they were supporting, which means it had nothing to do with us. There was nothing that we really brought to the table besides being a Black space. And I'm perfectly comfortable with that. Because my space exists for me and people like me. And if you are not people like me, get what you need from me, and cut the check, you know? And that's kind of how it went. There were a lot of checks being cut during that time, and we had a time. I took my team all over the place and we enjoyed ourselves. So I'm okay.
So we talked about like there's like a model or a traditional way that people approach bookstores. Can you share like for you like what makes a good bookstore, and then for what you're doing in opposition to the tradition,
Yeah.
what is your approach to design and designing space?
Yeah. For me, what makes a good bookstore is I like to feel normal when I walk in. Some bookstores you walk in and you feel invisible. It's quiet and you're basically ignored until it's time for you to check out. And I just never wanted that in a space. My design spaces, and you can feel it and tell it from a mile away because it feels like home. It feels familiar. Even if you haven't picked up a book in 30 years, my shop feels familiar. And that is intentional because when you feel comfortable and when you feel at home, you're more interested in exploring different things, and I think that's what bookshops are for.
Exploration. Why semicolon? Why that
Grammatically,
name?
yeah,
Yeah.
grammatically it represents I struggle with depression. But it represents the point in a sentence where an author could stop but chooses to move forward. And semicolon was me moving forward into a thing. It was really taking a leap. Like life has been, whether being homeless, whether, growing up in Jacksonville, living in homeless shelters with my mom and my family, all of those things felt not that bad. It felt like it just was what it was. I rarely challenge myself. Work is easy, life is easy. We just move along. Semicolon was different because it was me taking a leap and trying something that other people would judge. And I typically stay away from that because really I don't want to hear it. Really, I got an attitude. I don't care what you think. But it matters in retail what people think and how they experience your space. And luckily, people have come to love it, or the correct people have come to love it. And we go keep that going.
Exactly. Y'all closed right now though.
We close right now.
Because y'all got some things happening.
We have some fun stuff happening. We have a cafe coming. We are partnering with Mxxd Cafe. George is the dopest human being on the planet. And apparently, according to Chicago Reader, he is the best barista. He got the best barista in the city, and I love that. And so I wanted to partner with him because I don't know what I'm doing.
Facts.
Yeah.
Finding someone who's in it and who's seasoned.
Yeah, I don't
I've been hearing
drink
about
coffee.
Mxxd.
I don't drink coffee at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
So,
I remember you telling me that.
but I know everybody else does. And so I wanted to have something to add to that conversation. But, I stick with the chai. George created a Southern pound cake chai for me, and it is fire. And it tastes just like pound cake, and it makes me so happy. And it's just not coffee.
In this new imagined space, like what are you, I guess, looking forward to, like customers and community teams, like, yeah.
The dope thing about me, it's a lot of them, but this specific thing is that nobody can do what I do, right?
No,
Nobody can make you feel how I feel in my space or in an exhibit that I did. You feel Danni from a mile away. That's important to me. And it's the part that I love about retail. I don't feel like none of them other people in Chicago.
Come on, talk it.
And so that said, I am looking forward to seeing and feeling the awe. Black women come into my space and they cry. And they just get so emotional, and they don't know where that emotion is coming from, but I do, because it's intentional. I created that emotion in you by putting these things here and playing this thing and putting this smell in the air when you walk in. All of those things make a difference, but Black women feel empowered in my space. I mean, your piece is on the outside of my space, and the number of people who walk by and they're pointing at it and they're like, this is just like, they're just awed by it. You know, you
and thank you for
are
asking me to
also,
do that.
yeah, you're also all inspiring. So I just want to put all of these things that are all inspiring in the same space at the same time, and just kind of overload people who feel the vibes, overload people who have never walked into a space and felt wanted or cared for or noticed. When they walk into my space, they feel all of those things at the same time. Cool. And that's why they cry. And I love it every time.
What do you think are some of the biggest misconceptions about booksellers and publishing? And
that it's very, very white. Now, it is very, very white.
Uh-huh.
But that's not for lack of trying. There are a lot of Black booksellers who make a lot of noise and do a lot of things. There are a lot of dope Black authors and publishers who do the work. But these systems have been in place for hundreds of years. It's hard to break through those barriers. And so sometimes people don't give us enough credit for even existing when we ain't supposed to be here. I haven't met a Black bookseller yet that got a loan from a bank to open their store. We all came out of pocket and made it happen because we wanted to and because the culture needed this. And so there's a certain amount of respect that should be given to the people who do the things. And I think that's what kind of gets missed.
What have been some of your biggest rewards of like leaning into your passion for literacy?
Man,
because it's been hard.
It's hard.
It ain't been easy.
Ain't no money in here.
Come on. Yeah.
I'm a money girl. I'm a Capricorn. Where are the dollars? Book selling is not that space. But man, the people. Yo, people get so excited when you start talking about books. Kids get so excited and they get worked up. And I don't even like kids per se. They're fine. They can exist. But like, I just don't put your hands on me. Like, they're always sticky. They have things to say. It's a lot of mouth, a lot of questions. It's a lot for me. But seeing them when you hand them a book and how excited they get, like that gets me hyped. As well. And so, we have created these programs where we give, thousands of books away every year. And the reason why we continue doing that, even when it's not particularly affordable, is because these kids grab these books and they turn up. And it's like, that's the energy. But it's also bigger than that. This is a cultural issue. Black literacy rates are down. Black literacy rates keep falling. And what that does is it strengthens the school to prison or even the work to prison pipeline. When people don't read, they don't make good decisions for themselves. There have been thousands of studies, but when you don't read, you don't know that those studies exist. It's all of these things that set Black people up to always, always, always end up in prison, end up unmoneyed, end up in situations that make our life worse. And literacy is the one thing that can change that. And it's so easy to do. It's so easy to just get literate or get interested in a story that somebody else wrote. I always say it's actually a mental health issue because literacy for me and reading for me is meditation. Right? So I can calm myself down from anywhere by just reading for a couple minutes. And that's a big deal. So also saving the world by offering people books. That matters.
Yeah. And Semicolon is a nonprofit. So a lot of people don't know.
We're
nonprofit bookstore.
Not like we've gotten any grants or anything, but we outside.
Come on. Soon come,
Soon come.
In this season, what are you learning about yourself?
I am learning to be okay with being still. I'm 38. I've spent at least 35 of them years just running. I've been running. I've been outside. I'm moving from place to place. I'm doing things. I'm an oldest daughter, so I'm taking care of my siblings. I'm taking care of my parents. I'm taking care of everybody who's anywhere near me. And in these last 3 to 5 years, it's really me learning how to be taken care of in return. And being okay, accepting it, because also back up. I don't know how to be taken care of. I don't know how to be loved and accepted and like held. And so this season is forcing me to learn that.
Come on now.
I
What we
respect
say,
it.
growth. No, that's amazing. And being like, even in like a person who's like a protector and a provider, it's like, oh, I'm human. Like I need all the basic
Who knew I
thing.
was human?
Come on, right?
I've
Not a
been
superhuman.
doing all this dope stuff for so long, and it's nothing. Everything I've ever done, I'm like, it's nothing. You need me to do this 20,000 square foot exhibit in 12 hours? It's nothing. I got it.
Right.
And it's also like, hey, that's not normal. Hey,
Yeah.
go sit down.
Chill.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself a introvert or extrovert?
Extreme introvert.
Okay, how do you navigate that? Because you give extrovert energy.
Yeah, it's fake. It's not real. Like this,
She said it's on.
Even this conversation is me being on. I am not on, baby. I am a nerd. I am a reader. You hand me a book, I'm in the corner, even at the party. Yeah. Like I'm at the Beyonce.
But you
concert.
learned the skill.
It's a skill. I'm gonna call it a skill, but I also hate everything about it.
Okay.
I don't want to talk to nobody. I want to sit there with my book. Now, it's so many books we got to get through. It's millions of books outside, and you slowing me down because you want to chat.
Yeah.
I want to chat.
Yeah, but it becomes a part of that what is it? Customer service, that business model.
Yes.
So
it is what differentiates my business. It is what differentiates me. Right? People don't have this personality, and I recognize that. But also, this personality ain't real, so anybody can have it. And so I don't like people getting lost in like, you're so cool, you're so fun, and like also, hey baby, that's not me. So this also has been a season of me being like, yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah, being okay with like
being okay with saying no. I don't want to. I don't want to do express. I don't want to do this shoot. We have a major company that's trying to do another one of those billboard S shoots, and I don't want to because I'm tired of showing up as an inauthentic person. Absolutely.
Nick can do it now.
I'm teaching my team to become me so that I can read my book in the corner. That's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah. What advice would you give to an introverted person that is kind of navigating like, because sometimes you just got to do it, right?
You just got to do it.
And I think that's what you're saying, right? Yeah. It's like sometimes you have to, whether it's getting out of your own way or just stepping aside and being like, okay, now I have to be on because this leads to this. But also the human part of it is that you want people to be cared for and feel special. So you give of yourself in that way.
Absolutely.
So can you talk about like how you're able to manage that, and any advice to an introvert that's like, because I feel that way sometimes too for myself, where sometimes maybe if I'm at events, I don't say bye, I'll just leave, because the concept of bye, I do. And people that care about me or whatever, or just even if you don't, like, you understand why I do it, but the concept of having to hug people and then say bye, and then like the little conversations that may come after that, like I'll be feeling exhausted.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Well, it's not even the time consumption, it's how I feel after it, knowing that like I'm an empath and I take on other people's energy. So you, as a person who, you say, whether however you describe it, but I would say like it's a skill that you've mastered, but it's also something that you understand as a key point of making people feel welcomed and cared for.
I'm Southern,
so
babe. We gonna make you feel
yeah,
welcome.
so you're like, I'll push that I don't like to do this aside in order to do it. Can you talk about how you're able to do that, and advice to that introvert person who's like,
I'm gonna keep it 100. One, my grandma will whoop my ass if I don't make people feel welcome. It's just what it is.
It's instilled in you.
It's instilled in me. Southern hospitality is a thing. My grandma is the ancestor that when something happens on my behalf, I know she's been up there knocking people out. She's that girl, and she was like, always have a certain level of couth and hospitality in everything you're doing. And so I really think she is the spirit that overtakes me and turns this aspect of myself on, because she don't play that. When somebody walk in your house, you need to offer them a piece of cake, and if they want you to cook them a whole meal, get to cooking. And are they thirsty? Do they know where the bathroom is? All of these things, and it shows in my exhibits, and it shows in my shop, and it shows anytime I care about anyone, even you. I just made you banana pudding last week. Like, did you feel loved when you ate that? Congratulations.
Yes.
But
it was so good.
But that is not my norm. But I also owe it to the ancestors who are swinging for me to swing back. They're not here to do it. Let me represent.
Yes.
And so for me, that's where it comes from. So it's not really any advice I can give to anybody. I'm doing this off the strength of, I know my people got me, let me make sure I got them too, and I'm making a name for myself and representing them well.
Okay. So advice is tap in with your ancestors.
Tap in.
Make sure you tap in with them ancestors. Okay, I want to ask that. But you don't just have a bookstore, you also have like a restaurant.
I do.
Can you talk about that?
You know?
Oh,
yeah.
Can you talk about the restaurant and like what's next?
Let me tell you something. Again, I didn't expect to have my restaurant till I was about 50 and I was retired and I was kicking it. My wife, who is an engineer, she's a professional engineer. She's an electrical engineer, but she's also a musical engineer. So
Fellow
she has
Taurus.
fellow Taurus. Y'all be doing everything. But she has her master's in both, right? So there was never a reason why she should have a restaurant. But when we opened our restaurant, she wanted a space where when we got off work at our tiring jobs, we would go sit at our bar. Mm-hmm. We had a menu that we loved where everything was made from scratch and everything was made with love. And so when we created our restaurant, we knew what it was going to do, and we've been Michelin mentioned twice, and like,
what's it called?
It's called 1308. We've never even opened a restaurant before, but we've been Michelin mentioned twice. Like, it was just it's been a wild journey. We closed in February so that we can find a larger space, because so many people want to kick it with us. So we are in the process of opening in a really cool area of the city, and I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, we can't say where it's at? I know where it's at. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Not yet. We like to make sure that the lease is done, but we like to make sure everything is done on time. But yeah, like, we are excited and we love it, and it's tiring, but we are both workaholics, so we love having the space where the food looks, feels, tastes like what we expect in our spaces, and the hospitality is what we expect. We don't do that whack shit that a lot of these restaurants are like, oh, we're putting a hospitality percentage on here and it pay. Like, we don't do none of that. Okay. I don't like it. And so we like to show up and represent as we like to be treated, and that's what our restaurant represents for us.
And the name again?
1308 Chicago.
1308. Okay.
We should be back.
Can't wait
by
till
like September-ish.
Okay, this year.
This year.
Come on. I gotta go there and visit. Get there. What advice would you give to someone, or better question, people that say like you should just focus on one thing? I think I got advice 2014, and I'll tell you offline who it was,
because they were whack.
Yeah, but it was one of those things where as soon as it was advised to me, I was like, what? Why would I do that? But it was I think, and there's seasons where you're really locked in and really hyper focused on a set of things, but like, what are your concepts, or like, what do you think of that? Do you think it's poor advice? Would you ever
I don't think there's poor advice. Okay. Like, when you get advice from somebody, you either take it or not, but it doesn't mean it sucks. Somebody could use it. Okay. But I will say, when people say that, I think I have an idea of what they're trying to say. What they're trying to say is that we can't do everything well all the time. That's how burnout happens. That's how we find ourselves tired. We're not really checking in with ourselves. You can't do everything well all the time. But also, we have to consider our levels of well, right? I'm working at a 98 percentile all the time. So if I do something at a 76 percentile, it's still better than the people who doing it at a 20 percentile.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So it depends on what your well is. And so if I'm working on 3 different things and I'm giving my best to all of them, I'm still running laps around the people who half-assing it or don't have the same skill level and everything else. So it only matters, how do you feel getting this done? Because if you're tired, if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel any of those things, well, baby, put it down. Don't do multiple things. But if you still feel good, knock it all out, because you can. Everybody ain't built like that, but those of us who are, get it done.
Come on. Amen. So you do a lot. You're not gonna slow down.
No.
how do you know when you're at capacity and overwhelmed? And like, how do you care for yourself? What's your routines?
I know when I'm at capacity, when I'm emotional. I'm not an emotional person. Hey, this is work, baby. I don't care. I like it is hard to take me kind of put me in an emotional space, but when I find myself crying, like, look at this guy, it's so nice, I'm overwhelmed. When somebody gives me some feedback, whether it's positive or negative, and I feel myself welling up, I'm overwhelmed. And the way that I fix that, baby, I go to the beach. I gotta go to the beach. I'm a mermaid. I am a Florida girl. Put me in the sand. Um, but the beach is not just a physical beach. There could be a mental beach where I'm just reminding myself of the things I went through to create this.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that I do, everything that I work on, I created. Why would I run from that? Why would who says this? Lil Wayne. What should I scream for? This is my theme park.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel that all the time. I created all of these things. What's my issue?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't want it to be this overwhelming, change something about it. And I can, because it's mine.
Gotcha.
And so it is hard for me to be in an overwhelmed state. But when I am, I just have to like reconnect with the idea that I built exactly what I wanted. And if I don't want it anymore, I need to build something else. That's it.
Yeah. A couple more questions. Reflecting back, I'm sure you've read a lot of books. What are some just, I would say, must reads, for artists, for whether it's entrepreneurs or just existing as a human, like, like what are some of the books maybe that touched you and maybe you even still go back to?
Yeah.
Maybe 2 or 3 books.
It's hard for me to be touched by a book because I've read so many and I'm like this mid.
Yeah.
The editor failed. But
I mean, it could even be the first book you fell in love with too.
No, I will say I will say there is one book, and it's funny because it's the best-selling book in my shop. Since we opened, and it's all about love by bell hooks. It is not a quick read. It is not an easy read. It's not intended to be so. It's one of those books that you hold on to it and you keep going back to it when you need to, when you have a thought, when you feel uncomfortable, when you want to just reread a thing to remind you that other people have been through what you think you're the first person to go through. All About Love by Bell Hooks is absolutely that. Another one, The Alchemist. Oh my gosh. I love The Alchemist.
I got halfway through it.
What happened? You weren't feeling it?
I should read more. I already told you. Yeah, I should read more.
Yeah, you don't say.
Yeah. I'm bad. Yeah.
The Alchemist is that book, and it takes it. If you got halfway, you didn't get far enough, because if you got 3/4 of the way, you would have been relocked in again. It starts to bring the story together. But The Alchemist is one of those books that reminds you that like there's nothing we can do to change the way things are set to go. Right? Mm-hmm. We think that anything we do is gonna make a change. If I show up this way, I can change the trajectory of this thing that I don't even know what that trajectory is. Mm-hmm. And The Alchemist is a reminder of that. I believe that certain aspects of life are grossly preordained. They're gonna happen. However they happen, it's gonna go how it goes. And that's why I love The Alchemist, because it's that reminder. The other thing, there's one book that's called Buy Yourself the Fucking Lilies. I love that book because we forget when we're taking care of everybody else that we got to take care of ourselves too. Mm-hmm. And so we can take excellent care of everybody else. And we find ourselves when it's time to buy ourselves like a $10 bouquet, we're like, I'm not sure. As if we didn't just give $1,000 worth of bouquets to these people over here. Mm-hmm. Why don't we care for ourselves in that same way? And so that's a favorite. So those 3, I would say, keep me in a good space.
Let's go. Peace for you is?
Safety.
Your legacy is?
Freedom.
Let's go.
I think it's important to be free, to feel free above all, and to exemplify where freedom takes you to.
Yeah. Well said. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
You can follow us at Positioning Your Passion. You can follow at Semicolon
Shy on Instagram. We are not on Threads. We are not on Twitter because what?
And then anyway, personally, at
Danni Ain't Right on Instagram. I'm only on Instagram, and that may not be for long.